In Texas, more similarities than differences on gun policy. According to nonprofit Everytown Research, Tennessee ranks 32 and Texas ranks 34 out of 50 for gun law strength. Today we dive into the laws that govern these states' policies on guns. A weekend shooting in Chattanooga after a deadly massacre in Texas, once again putting gun policy in the spotlight as officials debate who can legally own a gun.
I can't say this clearly enough. Easy access to illegal guns is killing kids, and our community has a responsibility to put a stop to it.
Now the conversations turn to legal regulations. One policy point, background checks.
Some states do require that an individual-to-individual sale have a background check. But Tennessee is not one of those states. We have no such requirement.
Federal law requires federally licensed firearm dealers to check for criminal history before they make a sale. But according to nonprofit group Everytown, neither Tennessee nor Texas have additional state laws requiring background checks. It means some buyers at yard sales or gun shows can evade background checks if they don't go through a licensed dealer.
And we do our best to keep these out of the criminals' hands.
As a federally licensed dealer, David Smith tells us he runs a background check on anyone that comes through his shop. He also tells us he has the right to not sell firearms to an individual.
We're the ATF's eyes and ears, you know. We try to do the right thing and make sure it does happen that way.
Smith explains that federal law says convicted felons cannot own firearms, and both Tennessee and Texas have additional laws that bar purchases for convicted domestic abusers.
It's felony convictions and misdemeanor domestic violence.
But neither Tennessee nor Texas requires training or permits to purchase a gun. And after Governor Lee's constitutional carry law passed last year, now neither state requires training or permits to open or conceal carry.
You can walk in, get a gun, never shot one, and say, hey, I can carry one concealed. Well, you just bought the gun. You don't know anything about it. You don't know how to take it apart, clean it.
Now, David Smith says despite Tennessee having a constitutional carry law, there are several exceptions to Governor Bill Lee's 2021 law, and he still recommends owners apply for a concealed carry permit that requires permittees to complete a handgun safety course to help them understand those exceptions and not do anything illegal.
The shooting here on Cherry Street that left 6 children injured turned this quiet, peaceful walk into an alley of chaos. And just a little ways away, the ice cream show, a family-friendly establishment, turned into a shelter. A busy day of work at the ice cream show could never prepare Andy McGann for the terror of Saturday night.
I see people flooding in and I see the fear in their face.
6 teenagers shot on Cherry Street, forcing crowds of people into the shop with nowhere left to run.
It just felt very trapped because if he came in, there was nowhere we could go.
45 people crammed into the shop, not ready to go down without a fight.
So, we're not going to just let ourselves be shot.
Arming themselves and customers with knives and bats, the shop's employees worked out their survival plans.
The lady who was in here called the police, and then I had my coworker Pearl just relay information to the back, asked what the person had, like a rifle, shotgun, or just a regular pistol. And although grateful for their safety, their concerns about gun violence are echoed throughout the country, with at least 12 mass shootings this Memorial weekend.
Shows you that there's an issue there and just makes it all the more tragic.
In Chattanooga, Tennessee.
The shooting in downtown shocking Michael Gordon with the pursuit of happiness.
Why are these kids holding guns? Why is there a safety issue?
Concern about lax gun laws allowing firearms into children's hands, a lack of programs for Chattanooga youth, and violent attacks Gordon hopes to end.
We can bring in the mayor, the police chief, pastors, so we can get together to figure out what is the problem.
So that no one will have to cower in fear.
I think it's scary. It just shows that a change is definitely happening, not only here in Tennessee, but just in our country overall. And it's rising, and I think it definitely needs to be dealt with.
People from all across the country and even other parts of the world will soon gather in downtown Chattanooga for a common purpose, Riverbend.
All but 7 states we've sold wristbands, and we've sold them in 4 foreign countries, all the way from Brazil and Denmark.
This weekend, Chattanooga's holding one of its biggest music festivals, but less than a week prior, a shooting happened just a few blocks away from here. But now the festival's leaders are telling us that safety is their #1 priority.
We have always had, for 38 years, had volunteer security. Well, I want to turn that over to the professionals. So we will have professionals, city police, Hamilton County Police, private police.
The festival's executive director, Mickey McCamish, says the area will be entirely fenced in and no one can pass through without their own wristband.
You tried to pass it through the fence to someone else, it will have to be rescanned. We know that wristband is in the festival, so we will confiscate that band and that person will not get in the festival.
He says Saturday's shooting wasn't the driving force behind maximum security. He says they've always planned the safest festival possible.
Our attention to detail that would include any event that occurred outside of the festival that could have spillover into the festival, we've taken into account.
John Sorrow's on the festival board and says since it's a large community event, the community has been very involved.
You have to have a good, strong partnership with your city, your county, police, security, fire, healthcare, ambulance services, and those kinds of things to make sure all the services are provided.
I spoke with 14-year-old Alara Lee, who is around the same age as the victims from the shooting. She says although what happened is upsetting, she doesn't want to live in fear.
The world can't stop, and even if we are afraid, people are going to still have fun in their community because this is where people live, this is where people grow, where people learn and love and everything.